MotorWeek is made possible by Auto Value and Bumper to Bumper and TireRack.com.
But as promised, we start things off with another Chrysler hopeful, the intermediate-size LeBaron. Chrysler Corporation is the smallest and least healthy of the big three automakers, and they've also been the first to stop making big cars. No Chrysler product is now larger than intermediate size. The name Chrysler LeBaron may sound familiar, but it's only a friendly shadow of its former self. The LeBaron is the latest U.S. try at getting the big car buyer into one of those ubiquitous front-wheel drive, fuel-efficient cars. Base price of the LeBaron starts at $8,000, though with a little help from Chrysler, you can take one home for closer to $13,000, which was the sticker price of the one we tested. Here's what we found.
The Chrysler LeBaron is built on a slightly stretched K-body platform. The luxury version is available in this two-door, a four-door sedan, and a convertible. Basic power comes from a homegrown 2.2-liter four-cylinder or an optional Mitsubishi 2.6-liter, as in our test car. You can actually get this LeBaron with a 4-speed manual transmission, though most buyers will probably opt for this car's 3-speed automatic. The Mini Chrysler shares a lot of sheet metal with the Dodge Aries and Plymouth Reliant lines. This version does have a very distinctive front end, though, complete with an Imperial look-alike grille and headlights. The rest of the styling is on the formal side, but does have enough designer touches to convince buyers that small doesn't have to be homely. It's a clean, angular, almost elegant-looking car. If there's one thing that sets American cars apart from imports, it's interior design. This LeBaron was loaded, and the reclining leather bucket seats were most supportive. The dash is a gussied-up version of other K cars, but with a lot more chrome and a finer grain of plastic wood. This dash looks like it came from a big car and includes a very good electronically tuned radio. The few gauges had bright faces, and that left indicator lights to tell most of the story. The interior said quality and comfort, despite its smaller size. The LeBaron is what used to be called a mid-priced car. It's really for those who want luxury but can't afford it. Correspondingly, the ride is smooth and a little too soft, but this Chrysler has none of the bounce and sway of former years. The steering, power rack and pinion, naturally, was slow and numb in feel, but probably just right for the average LeBaron owner. Acceleration also seemed lacking at first, but just give it a heavier foot and you'll more than keep up with the crowd. Adequate power was always available. Now it's time to make this little coupe available for our testing crew. This drag strip is a good place for an acceleration test. The LeBaron scored 6 seconds in our passing sprint of 40 to 55 miles per hour, a time considered acceptable but slower than we'd like. Turning diameter, measured from the front wheels, curb to curb, was an okay 35 feet. Again adequate, but not wide nor tight. The LeBaron is not meant for roughhousing, but in an emergency, it may be forced to live beyond its design. In our handling course, the soft springs allowed quite a bit of body roll. At speed, the car exhibited a lot of oversteer. That's the tendency of the rear of a car to lose traction and swing towards the outside when cornering. Combined with slow steering, our drivers couldn't exit the course at any great speed. The car wasn't hard to keep under control, but it did mean you had to work at not knocking off a pylon or two. Braking performance from 30 miles per hour was within our normal range, 46 feet after 6 stops. From 55, however, it was 149 feet, almost too long. However, our team felt the brakes were good considering the mission of the car, and there was no fade. The back end did manage to kick out a time or two, confirming our feeling that there's not enough weight over the rear wheels. Pop the hood on most any member of the front-wheel drive set and you see a cramped engine compartment. The transverse LeBaron is no different, but much better than most. The hood is spring-loaded and needs no prop rod. Dipsticks and fluid reservoirs are handy. The oil filter can be changed from up top and plugs are easily reached. A lot of careful engineering obviously went into this relatively well-laid-out cavity. The boxy design of the LeBaron pays off. Plenty of room for a family of 4 or 5 in a pinch. The two doors are wide and rear seat entry is easy. The luggage compartment also benefits from this angular look. It's bigger, but with a different shape from most K cars. That's because the spare tire has been moved from under the cargo floor to just behind the rear seat. Highway driving in this LeBaron was a pleasure, but gas mileage was average. The EPA rates this 2,700-pound automatic version at 23 city, 31 highway. We managed 21 to 28. Visibility was rated good on this two-door version, and we found the LeBaron surprisingly quiet for a small front-drive car. So there we are. Chrysler has entered the mid-price market with a truly modern, very American, but not perfect front-wheel drive car. Dodge has a very similar version. They call it the 400, and it differs only in the front grille treatment. Together, they should give Chrysler the refined muscle it needs to keep up in the bigger bucks economy car race. They just might provide enough incentive to make any large car owner think small.